We're back now with the 3-year-olds. I'm going to give you the straight goods. When I think of all these 3-year-olds, we've got a good look at them all right now. Aile's son looked awesome on Saturday night, second in 55 and 3. I was really happy with her. Arctic Forest pace 52 was last start. He's going to be in for another tough trip this week. I wanted to take him to Georgia tonight, but he didn't get in. So he's going to have to race at Mohawk this week. Beach Boutique is in to go Monday or Tuesday. She looked awesome last week. Really happy with her. Beach Bum BB has gone to Brandon Bates in Indiana. She landed there Saturday evening. He'll put her in to go whenever he wants. Bottle of Red. Also a little flat this week, but has been racing good. I got off the bike with Kevin. I said, maybe I took too much out of her first start. And he said, nah, she just seemed flat. And then we raced Need Your Opinion 7 races later, and she was flat also. So a little something there, not a big deal. Brush Cut also, we had him to the vet this week. He wasn't right. I think Kevin's got him under control now, but we will see this coming week. Cabernet is swimming right now for the next few weeks, and she starts back jogging. Canadian Titan's going to miss this week. She jumped on herself and hit her foot, or hit her left front ankle the other day. Little swelling in it. We got it pretty well cleaned out. She's going to need another week, probably just light jogging. Capistrano needs to go to the vet right away. Got to figure out what's wrong with it. The vet couldn't find anything on her right side the other day, but when they're running in like that, it is on the right side. So she's going to have to crack out her thinking cap and get to the bottom of what's going on with Capistrano. I think a number of problems plagued her in Hanover yesterday. One was the running in. 2 was the heat. Did she bleed? I need to know if she did or did not. So we're going to look to figure that out and combat that this week. Compass Rose DC will race this coming Saturday at Northfield Park. She should be really good. Don't Believe Me, Just Watch is back going. I think, as I said, I saw Kevin sneak a little training trip in the other day. He looked very, very good training on Saturday. Emerald Miss was pretty good. She's got to get back in the swing of things. Need to get her on a regular rotation. I don't know if she's in to go yet. She raced pretty good in her first Buckeye. Enduring Strength is entered for Thursday. He trained in 58 last week, but they go in 56. So he's going to have to follow around and put some speed on him this coming week. Excellent Nation was beaten the other day. I talked about that in the stables with Jason. I don't think he got the best drive, and at the same time, I think his feet were hurting him a little more than usual. We did a little vet work on him. He'll be back in to go this week. Forged in Fire is back in to go in the Meadows. Another horse that may need to go on the sale board. It's unfair. You know, the pandemic screwed them over. Forged in Fire would have had 10 races into him by now. We would have had a very good idea of what kind of horse he is. Instead, we're left with trying to half-ass answer questions and looking at the overall picture and saying, is this a horse that is going to do us some good at the stable right now? I don't know that it is. So we'll see how Forged in Fire races this week, and then we'll go from there. A horse that isn't far behind him is Frontier Cruise. This is a horse that needs to do a lot more work on the racetrack. He was sick. He did have an infection. Those are absolutely accurate. But when he comes back, I'm going to need him to start pacing 54, 55, or he may find himself on the sale board also. Giddy Up Max is in tonight at Georgian Downs through the 9-hole. That is going to be a tough row to hoe for him. Globetrotting raced awesome out of the 9-hole. Her first start back at 2020, a winner in 55 and 1. She's got a stake race coming up at Northfield this week. Harness AM raced pretty good last night. 4th, trotted 57, 29 on the end of it. Yeah, those are decent horses. I would like to see her attack a little more, but this was her second start back. I think she needed that. She was blowing pretty good after. One of our partners on her said, do you think she's bleeding? She could be. We had her on Lasix at 2. Can't get Lasix on the B tracks, but when she heads to Mohawk her next start, it will be a Lasix start. So her next start will be at Mohawk. It will be on Lasix, and I can't wait to see how she races. Hometown Boys race great, 2, 1, and 3. He looked really, really good. I'll play it alone. Another horse like Frontier Cruise and Forged in Fire. He's gonna have to pull his pants up, because if he thinks he's gonna go out there and finish 8th next week, that will be the last time we race him. He'll likely find himself on the sale board shortly after that. Inland Beach raced great in Hanover, 3rd and 56. That's a big mile over Hanover. Johan made a break leaving the other night. That was my fault. I've explained this story twice now. This is the 3rd time. He broke his martingale just before they said go. I could have initiated a recall. I chose not to because I didn't want him getting wild. And instead he threw his gate where he would have needed, at the gate he threw his head where he would have needed his martingale, and coming out of the gate threw it again and made a break. Just for me and you, it will likely be in to go at Mohawk this week. She looks really, really good on the track right now. Knockdown drag out, found her way over to Richard Moreau this week. I just wasn't going to fool around anymore. I got ragdolled pretty good by her the other night, and I thought we had her under control, and it seemed to be the complete opposite. So she's over at Richard Moreau's. Richard's got a smaller farm, jogs them all in the gate, keeps them really quiet. This might be the key for this filly, and I hope it is. This is a filly this would be a tremendous waste of talent if this filly does not turn out just of mammoth proportions. So I hope that Knockdown Dragout does well over at Richard Moreau's barn. Where are we at here? Miss Brampton Beast was a winner last week and looked really good, 54 flat, and come on to pass horses down the lane. Very unlike her. Not to say she's a bad horse, but she's just not that. She doesn't have that killer mentality. Sometimes she kind of just goes through the motions. 54 flat, closing in between 3 other horses to win, was a very, very good mile for her. Muscle Chrome made a break yesterday. We got to get her back on track. I'll go with her Thursday at the qualifiers at Mohawk and see what we can't do to help her. Nancy Allison, even in a worse boat, she is really trying my patience. I actually tinkered with the idea of putting the pacing hobbles on her the other day. She doesn't want to, I want to see this filly do good, but it's a frustrating proposition. So Nancy Allison is frustrating me. This is a filly, one that has a lot of residual value as a broodmare, I believe. So we're not at all a loss, but breeding season's over for right now. So do we hang on to her? Do we just stop with her? There's a million things we can do, but at this point, none of them are right and none of them are wrong. So I'm weighing our options on Nancy Allison. Need Your Opinion was a little bit flat the other day. She paced 53 last quarter and 28, which is similar to the week before, but she didn't do it the same way. She's probably going to race in the grassroots on Friday. Olympic Hopeful qualified in 2-2 the other day and looked good from what Angie told me. So I'm really happy to hear that. She'll be racing soon. Overdue Mission, still on the list. Got to get her off. They're going to school her this week, and I will qualify her when I get to Ohio. Path of Totality is racing this week at Mohawk Tuesday, I believe. I was very happy with the way she trained. I'm really excited to see how she's going to race this week. Really Blue Chip qualifying with the hobbles on Tuesday morning. She'll be going there with Spirit of Dio. Both of them I expect will qualify well. Rooney Blue Chip will be racing hopefully Thursday evening at Mohawk. Rose Run Valiant qualified the other day. Qualified in 59, seemed good. Going back to Rooney. Rooney trotted in 57 last quarter and 28 the other day. You can't ask for much more than that. Sebastian Yu, tinkering again with his shoes, trying to get him right. He's not quite there yet, but hopefully he will in the very near future. So I'm going to take him over to Mohawk tomorrow morning. Sometimes things happen. Schooled on Thursday after his break on Tuesday. He's back in to go Wednesday. Jason said just changed his gear a little bit and he seems fine, so that's great. Spend That Money will race Saturday at Northfield Park, going for $40,000 in the Sire Stakes. A lot of people said, why don't we just drop her in and get an easy win in the Buckeye? Okay. How would we do that again? Because they went in 55-3 and 56-3 last night, the 2 races I watched. There's no gimmies there. So we'll see how Spend That Money does this week. We always get the consolation with her. I talked it over with Greg, one of my partners on the fillies, and said, even if she doesn't turn out to be a great gold filly, getting these points at the start will help get her into the consolation at the end of the year, and then we can look for a Buckeye start with her, which is completely plausible. Spirit of Dio back now. I trained her Saturday. She trained good. I'm going to qualify her on Tuesday. She felt like the old Dio, so we'll see how she does on Tuesday. Sunshine and Shade likely ready to train in the race bike at the end of this week. He's starting to brighten up, starting to look better. We'll see how he looks this week. Susie K, race of her life on Saturday evening, 57-3. You cannot ask that filly for anything more than she gave us on Saturday night. Trafalgar, as I said, I drove Trafalgar a little poorly the other day, but she'll bounce back good this week, I am sure. Really happy with how she looked the week before. As I said, I can't blame anybody but myself for last week. Watch Avenue raced good in Georgia and finished second. He's back in to go tomorrow at Mohawk. And Will is still there, still hanging in there. We'll see how hopefully progresses over the next few weeks. I really don't know what to think with him. Very perplexing situation. So, last and not least is Zeb Sunshine. He is going to race tonight at Georgian Downs. I will not be driving him. I will not be there. I'm tired, and I'm staying right here. I'm going to turn in early. Got a heavy day tomorrow. A lot to do this week. I have to drive to the border and try and get my B1 this week, which shouldn't be that difficult, but I have to do it. Just a lot to do and a lot to get done. So that is it. That's all your videos for this week. We had a pretty good week. We had a great week at the qualifiers, pretty good week at the races. We'll hope to keep that going and grow it even more in the coming weeks. We'll talk to you guys soon. I hope you had a great week. We had a pretty good week. Take care.